Hello everyone, this is David with Liberty Suppressors, and what I want to talk about today is pros and cons of suppressors. Why some people might not want one instead of all too ambiguous, suppressors are the greatest thing since sliced bread, and since we make them you need to buy one, or 10 or 20. They ain't for everybody. Some people that like suppressors can do nothing but praise the wonders of them, and we like that because we sell them. Like I said, they're not for everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through kind of like a list of the pros and the cons, and maybe you'd overlooked it or something while you was shopping and you just didn't think of that, or something to that effect. The pros of suppressors, especially like integrals, is this rifle is suppressed. It's the same length as the carbine is unsuppressed. So you don't deal with the noise of a unsuppressed rifle, but the package size is the same. You don't have quite the accuracy of an unsuppressed carbine. You get rid of the bang and all of that associated information that comes from the bang. The pleasure of the shooting experience is exponentially increased. The report of a gunshot is so disturbing to people that you'll see people instantaneously develop flinch. They'll pull the trigger and the whole gun will shudder back and forth. And you can catch them dry firing the gun, and the gun will literally move and nothing moved but the hammer flipping up and hit the fire pin. And that's because of flinch, because they're anticipating that noise and they think they're going to anticipate recoil, and because of that it's not as fun. They can't hit what they're shooting at, so they can't focus on their shooting, so they just have problems with it. So suppressors reducing that report gets rid of that annoying bang. The next thing that suppressors accompany with that a lot of people have a problem with is they're transferred on paperwork at $200 a can. If you want one in 300 blackout, and then you want one in 22, and you want one in 308, it's $200 a pop to play the game. Another detriment would be the long wait for the ATF to process paperwork. It takes, right now, as of this date, which is late January of 2013, it's taking them around 6 months to clear paperwork. And some people just don't want to wait 6 months. The other thing is, there's a lot of people worries about the paperwork. They're leery of buying them because they don't want to be on some list, So that's another detriment. Another thing is it adds weight to the muzzle of the gun, and that weight makes the gun heavy. So for small people or children, sometimes a lot of smaller women have trouble shouldering a firearm that has a suppressor on it because that extra end weight pulls down on the muzzle, and they just have trouble. And then they can't hold the sight on the target, so they start overcompensating and stressing over that. And then you got all that extra weight tugging down on the end of the gun barrel, and it just compounds the problem. Another thing is, if you run muzzle suppressors, then it adds that length of that silencer to the end of the gun. So now the package grows by another 6, 8, 10 inches depending on the can you're buying, and it just makes it long and ungainly, and it's not compact and maneuverable. That's why you don't see a lot of guys shooting like 3-gun matches or carbine matches with muzzle cans on their guns. It's just because it doesn't maneuver well and on those little ranges and in between barricades and all that. They have trouble with their muzzle when they run suppressors, so most people don't run suppressors because of that. The benefits for instructing someone that's a first-time shooter, when you put that silencer on the end of the gun and then you demo it to them and you fire a couple of rounds just to show them the report of the gun is diminished and that it has virtually no recoil, they're a lot more comfortable at learning to shoot than they are if you hand them a carbine and put full power M855 ball in it and tell them, here, put the post on the center of the target in the middle of the circle and pull the trigger. What they're going to do is they're going to close their eyes and start jerking that trigger until that gun runs out of bullet. If you can get someone to shooting the first time with a suppressor, typically they're not worried so much about it. And then after they've shot a suppressed gun some, you can put some gun mufflers on them and give them an unsuppressed carbine or an unsuppressed handgun. And it's not so scary to them anymore. You kind of get them over that hump of being worried about it. It makes it a lot easier to teach them a different platform once you've got them past that fear of the loud noise. People don't think about a lot of times is suppressors get hot, especially carbine cans, and we've seen people get burnt with them. I've been burned by them. I mean, they get hot. A 30 round magazine and an AR-15, and you can be hurt really bad by grabbing that silencer. And people don't think about it. They'll lay it on their range bag, melt a big spot in their range bag. It's all sorts of horrible things will happen. Quick attach cans are not quick detach cans. Once you shoot them and get them hot, you can't touch them to take them off of the gun. They go on fast, but you need to let them cool off unless you've got a welding glove in your back pocket. So if you can, go somewhere and test drive one. You know, we have demo days here from time to time, and a lot of the dealers around here will let you demo a product. We can typically get something arranged if you'll give us a call. But if you want to test drive a Liberty can, just give Justin a call. Justin happens to be on site at the facility all the time. He's actually going to be the one that'll walk you out here to the test range and let you fire one. Probably this Leonidas if you're going to come shoot a 300. We can try to give you a list of dealers that have Liberty products that you could talk to. But ultimately, if you're way off somewhere in Texas or Montana or what have you, then you'll do well just to go ahead and maybe check on the forums, or call your local dealer and see if they've got anything for a demo suppressor in stock. Because I would highly recommend test driving one before you buy it. It's a good idea, so you'll know what you're getting into. Because 5.56 cans, even suppressed rifles, they're not all that quiet. They're still loud. They won't ring your ears that you notice. Some people with delicate hearing, it'll still ring their ears. Another thing people don't realize is that sound measurement is taken 1 meter from the end of this muzzle. When your cheek's on this stock, that ejection port's right there on a 5.56 carbine, this technically isn't hearing safe. We've put the sound meter right here, and it'll be sometimes way over 140. Where on the other side, where there's no ejection port, it'll be 135. Over here it'll be 142. I mean, 8 inches of difference from one side to the other, in line with that ejection port, and you can get that much volume of sound. If you've never been around suppressors, you really need to go somewhere where you can see one, test drive it. It's important, because a lot of people get disappointed. They go through all that trouble and then they get their silencer and it ain't quiet. We've had people call us and tell us, it's like, this thing doesn't do what I thought it was going to do. It's because they didn't get to see what it was like beforehand and kind of get an idea of what they was getting into. If you've got any more questions, be sure to email us or call us, and to subscribe and do all the likes and the Facebook following and all that good stuff. So be sure to do all that. We'd appreciate it. And this is David with Liberty Suppressors, and I'll talk to you later.